Cheaters and hackers. Every competitive game has them. But in Hypixel Bed Wars, the cheating problem feels louder, more visible. Some say it's worse than ever. True or not, one question remains. If everyone cheats, is it still cheating? Let's break this down. Economically, psychologically, and philosophically. Disclaimer. This video does not endorse cheating in any form. It's an analysis of why people cheat and whether cheating can be justified when it becomes normal. The first question we're going to answer is why do more and more people cheat, or at least feel like it? Cheating gives a competitive advantage, but there's also a risk of getting caught. So what's the rational choice here? Economists use something called game theory to analyze situations like this, specifically the prisoner's dilemma, which helps explain why individually rational decisions often lead to worse outcomes for everyone. Here's a simplified payoff matrix for two Bed Wars players, A and B. You may pause the video to read the chart. Let's break this down. The numbers represent relative benefits. The first number is player A's outcome. The second is player B's. The numbers aren't exact scores. They just reflect how much better or worse each option is. Now, imagine you're player A. What should you do? Situation 1. If player B cheats. Well, you have two choices. If you cheat, you get 2. If you play fair, you only get 1. So cheating actually benefits you more. Situation 2. If player B plays fair. If you cheat, you get 4. If you also play fair, you get 3. Again, cheating is better for you. So regardless of what B does, cheating is your best personal move. This makes cheating your dominant strategy, the choice that maximizes your benefit no matter what the other player does. Player B, running the same logic, will also cheat. The result, both players cheat and each gets 2. But look back at the matrix. If both had played fair, they each got 3. That's better for both players, yet it never happens. This outcome, where everyone chooses their own best option but everyone ends up worse off, is called the Nash equilibrium. It's stable but not socially optimal. Everyone acts rationally, and the community collapses. This is why cheating spreads in games like Bed Wars, not necessarily out of evil, but because it becomes the rational response in a system where others are assumed to cheat too. But as time moves on, this strategy also evolves. Most players don't just fly around with kill aura anymore, they also cheat quietly. Let's model this a bit more deeply. We have fair players, no risk but no advantage. We also have closet cheaters, some benefit, low chance of getting caught, and also low guilt. But we also have blatant cheaters, more benefits but high detection and punishments. If the expected value of cheating, benefit minus risk minus guilt, is positive, more people will adopt that strategy, especially if they see others doing it, which we'll get to next. Game theory explained the external factors in the decisions, but what about the internal battle between doing well and doing good? As psychologist Dan Ariely wrote in The Dishonesty of Honest People, most people want to benefit from cheating, but also view themselves as honest. This is where self-concept maintenance kicks in. For a human being, we want two things. 1, the gains from cheating. 2, the identity of being a good person. So we cheat just a little. This especially applies to closet cheaters, who rationalize their hacks as minor or deserved. 2 mechanisms make this possible. The first one is categorization. People reframe their actions. I'm not cheating, I'm just making things a bit easier. They twist definitions. When hacks are subtle, it's easier to tell yourself it's not that bad. This is easy because closet cheating behavior is more malleable. But there's a limit. Even cheaters feel guilt if they cross a certain line. The self-deception window has boundaries. Maybe that's why higher stats people opt for closet cheats rather than blatant hacks. Secondly, we have the attention to standards. If you're reminded of your moral values, you act more honestly. But in games like Bed Wars, you're not thinking about morality. You're thinking about winning, so the guilt rarely activates. At the same time, we also have a question of why does cheating spread? Are more people actually cheating, or do we just think that more people are? Enter the false consensus effect, a cognitive bias where everyone overestimates how common their own behaviors or assumptions are. If one of my opponents is cheating, everyone must be cheating too. Or worse, if everyone else is cheating, I should also cheat too. This fuels more accusations against legit players, more justifications for hackers, and more disillusionment among honest players. This belief becomes self-fulfilling, and then cheating just grows. So now, the question at the heart of this video, if everyone cheats, is this still cheating? Let's turn to moral philosophy. This is actually a classic question of moral relativism versus moral realism. Moral relativism says morality depends on context. If cheating is common, maybe it's not wrong anymore. However, moral realism says some things are always wrong, even if everyone's doing it. So if Bed Wars becomes a game where everyone cheats, does that make it acceptable? Socially, maybe yes. Morally, still no. Absolutely not. Just because the norm has shifted doesn't mean the action is justified. But this leads to an emotional question. What's the point of playing legit if it feels like no one else is? This echoes philosopher Albert Camus, who asked, if life has no inherent meaning, should we just give up? His answer is no. He used the story of Sisyphus, a man condemned to roll a boulder up a hill forever, to symbolize life's absurd struggles. You don't escape it, you embrace it. You rebel by continuing, not for victory, but for meaning. You do know that hackers will come. You know the system is internally flawed. You know you'll lose unfairly at some point. But you keep playing. You play fair, not to win, but to rebel. When you finally beat a hacker, not with better hacks, but with raw skill, that's your absurd victory. A small moment of triumph in a world that doesn't reward fairness. So, if everyone cheats in Bed Wars, is this still cheating? Maybe not in the hacker community's eyes, but somewhere between your keyboard and your conscience, you already know the answer. The real danger isn't that cheating is common, it's about that fairness feels foolish. But still, some players choose to fight, not with hacks, but with intention. No glory, no guaranteed win, just a quiet, rebellious choice to keep going anyways. Now that we've discussed why this happens, can we actually fix it? Not with bans, but with design. Can we nudge people to play fair again? Well, that's for part 2.